Time is rapidly running out for Yamaha to prove to Fabio Quartararo that their long-awaited V4 engine can actually bring them back into MotoGP contention. What was once seen as a bold new chapter has now turned into a desperate gamble. The Malaysian Grand Prix, Yamaha's latest test of the V4 with wildcard rider Augusto Fernandez, only deepened the doubts. Fernandez struggled all weekend and finished dead last among the classified riders. For a manufacturer of Yamaha's prestige, this result was nothing short of embarrassing. 6 weeks on from the first appearance of the V4 at Misano, it's clear that progress has been minimal. The new engine was supposed to mark a revolution for the Japanese giant, a symbol of rebirth after years of stagnation with their inline four. Instead, Yamaha find themselves trapped in a cycle of uncertainty, teetering between hope and frustration. Yamaha's management have gone all in on this new concept, banking on it to finally close the gap to Ducati, KTM and Aprilia, all of whom have long mastered the V4 formula. With sweeping MotoGP regulation changes set to arrive in 2027, Yamaha's window for redemption is narrowing. They can't afford another wasted year. Yet the early signs suggest that the V4 project could still be far from ready to fight for podiums, let alone victories. The problem now is psychological as much as technical. By allowing Quartararo to taste the V4 prototype, Yamaha may have unknowingly accelerated their own crisis. The Frenchman, already skeptical after 3 long seasons without a win, now knows exactly what he's working with, and he's not impressed. His visible frustration during the Sepang weekend, especially after Fernandez's crash, sent shockwaves through the Yamaha garage. The atmosphere reportedly turned tense, with Quartararo openly demanding answers from the engineering team. To make matters worse, Fernandez revealed that Yamaha's new V4 engine has already reached its extreme limit in certain areas of development. The most alarming is the swing arm pivot, which is said to be at the very end of its adjustment range, leaving no flexibility for future setup improvements. As MotoGP journalist Matt Oxley observed, that's not where you want to be with a new bike. You should have room to experiment both ways. If you're already at one extreme, you've boxed yourself in technically, and that's worrying. Gavin Emmett, another seasoned commentator, also expressed concern over the V4's handling and ride height. If Yamaha can't iron out these issues quickly, next season could feel like an eternity for Quartararo, he warned. The French rider's patience has been tested for years, but 2025 could very well be the breaking point. Quartararo's discontent is not without reason. The former world champion has gone winless since 2022, when he was still fighting tooth and nail against Francesco Bagnaia for the MotoGP crown. Since then, he's been forced to carry the team through mediocrity, consistently outperforming the bike and salvaging points where no one else could. Without him, Yamaha's season would have been an outright disaster. Alex Rins has failed to make any notable impact, while the Pramex satellite project, their new alliance for 2026, remains rooted at the bottom of the team standings. It was Quartararo himself who pushed Yamaha into entering Fernandez with the V4 at Malaysia, demanding that the team gather more data and stop talking about progress without showing any. But the outcome backfired instead of optimism. It brought fresh concern. Behind the scenes, insiders claim that Quartararo has issued a blunt warning. If Yamaha cannot deliver tangible results with the V4 by the start of the 2026 pre-season, he will walk away. The pressure is now immense. For Yamaha, the V4 is not just a project, it's a lifeline. Failure could mean losing their star rider and further fading into MotoGP obscurity. At this point, the factory appears to have reached the extreme limit, both technically and emotionally. Their V4 concept is cornered, and so is their relationship with Quartararo. Unless a breakthrough happens soon, the once proud Japanese marquee could find themselves facing the most painful reality of all, rebuilding from zero without the rider who kept their dream alive. Yamaha's situation has become the perfect storm of pressure, pride and politics. Inside the paddock, whispers are growing louder that some engineers are already questioning the project's direction. A few insiders believe Yamaha rushed into the V4 concept out of sheer desperation to match Ducati, rather than following a well-calculated technical path. The result? A machine that looks aggressive on paper but behaves unpredictably on track. The Malaysian GP only highlighted that inconsistency. The V4 showed flashes of potential on Friday but completely collapsed by Sunday. Behind closed doors, team morale has taken a serious hit. The engineers who worked tirelessly on the Inline 4 era are reportedly demotivated, feeling sidelined by Yamaha's obsession with the V4 transformation. The sense of unity that once defined the factory team is fading, replaced by internal finger-pointing. One anonymous Yamaha technician was quoted saying, "We wanted progress, not panic. Now it feels like everyone's just trying to save their own job." Those words paint a worrying picture of the once harmonious Japanese outfit. Meanwhile, Quartararo's personal frustration has turned into a ticking time bomb. The Frenchman is known for his calmness off track, but sources claim that in Sepang he was more vocal than ever, even questioning the team's testing strategy. He reportedly asked why no proper private test had been scheduled between Misano and Malaysia, a decision that many in the paddock find baffling. For a manufacturer in crisis, skipping a vital testing window seems almost unthinkable. Quartararo's message was clear: we can't win by waiting. What's particularly alarming is how isolated Yamaha appears in comparison to their European rivals. Ducati run private tests almost monthly, constantly refining aerodynamics and electronics. KTM and Aprilia have adopted similar approaches, using every available day to close the gap. Yamaha, on the other hand, still seem to be bound by a conservative philosophy, one that values data protection and secrecy over rapid innovation. In modern MotoGP, that approach is proving fatal. The gap between ambition and execution is widening. There's also the financial question hanging in the background. Developing a brand new V4 engine and its entire supporting chassis geometry requires enormous investment. Insiders suggest that Yamaha's racing division has already exceeded its initial development budget for the 2025 season. This puts further strain on the company's management, who now must justify the project's value to the board in Iwata. If results don't come soon, even internal funding could be scaled back, a nightmare scenario for a manufacturer already on the edge.